What up, Killer Tapes 93, back again with a brand new hip hop CD pickup video. So let's get started, because like the last time I got more than a few, man. Starting off, we got the Lootpack, Sound Pieces, The Antidote. This was their debut album. The members consisted of Madlib, DJ Rome's, and Wild Child. This album dropped back in 1999, and they were out of Oxnard, California. Let's try and take a look at the track listing on the back. They're crazy small, so I might not be able to. Let's give it a try. Well, I probably won't even try it, man, but here's what the back looks like. Pretty cool. Looks like they got photos pinned all over. The track listing's crazy small, so let's move on. Next up, we got Mac Dre, The Musical Life of Mac Dre, Volume 1. And these are the Strictly Business years. Everything from 89 to 91 that was produced by Kyrie. And 89 through 91 were some of my favorite years from Mac Dre. He was born in Oakland, grew up in Vallejo, California. He was from the country club Crest section of Vallejo, and this right here was released in 2013. And the thing about this is that it's got a lot of his, well, not a lot, but it's got a good chunk of his early work. A lot of his stuff that's on here, the early stuff, is way out of print. Of course, if you find any physical hard copies of it, it goes for crazy loot. And this is kind of a gift, because they put some of that material back on CD for the fans. So let's go ahead and take a look, man. Alright, so here goes the back. Let's check out the track listing. And we got to get a focus on this. We'll start off with Living a Max Life, number 2. That was on his first, on his debut. It was an EP. So Living a Max Life, Young Black Brother was the title of his debut EP. You get The Gift to Gab from California Living. You get Too Hard for the Effing Radio. You get Times Are Getting Crazy. Man, just early stuff from him, man, that you just don't come across that much, man. And if you do, like I said, it goes for grit, man. This is a nice piece to have, man, if you're a Mac Dre fan, or if you're thinking about, giving Mac Dre a shot. This is a nice piece to have. R.I.P. Andre Hicks, man. Next up, we got Madvillain, the album Madvillainy. Madvillain consists of MF Doom, the MC, and producer Madlib. Not much needs to be said here, man. Everybody has this album for the most part. I see it in everybody's video. They either picked it up or, they reviewed it. One of the two. But this album dropped back in 2004. And it's basically a classic. Like I said, everybody pretty much knows about it, man. But let's go ahead and check the track listings real quick. I always like to hear what people have to say, like as far as the tracks on this album. I always like to hear and see what they say, like which ones are their favorite. Because it's kind of like, you can like basically pick anything on here, man. It could be your favorite, Rhinestone Cowboy, man. That's my joint. Classic album, man. Next up, I got Maestro Fresh Wes, Symphony in Effect. Maestro was an MC out of Canada, and this was his debut album. It dropped back in 1989, and he had a couple hit singles off here, Let Your Backbone Slide and Drop the Needle. So let's check it. Let's check out the tracks on the back. All right, Maestro, Drop the Needle, Let Your Backbone Slide, Power Mix. This was always a classic album to me, man. If you see it, pick it up. If not, check it out, man. You can listen to it on YouTube. Let's go. Next up, we got MC Ren, The Villain in Black. This was Ren's second. Yeah, this was his second full-length album. He was still on Ruthless Records for this one. He had production from Cole 187 on here, among others. I really enjoyed this album. I thought it was cool. Let's go ahead and take a look at the track listings on the back. All right. Here goes your track listings. That Bring It On features. He's got a Above the Law feature on that one. I think Cole 187 raps on that Live from Compton Saturday Night joint too. But pretty solid effort from Ren. Next up, one of my favorite albums, man. Mike Geronimo, The Natural. This dropped back in 1995. It was his debut album. He actually had crazy features on this album, man. At the time, he had an unknown Ja Rule, DMX, and a Jay-Z joint. I think it was Time to Build. They were basically unknowns at the time, but he had them featured on that joint on this album. He's from Queensboro, New York. And man, he also had some crazy production on here too from Buck Wild and who was it? Buck Wild and the Beatminers, among others. Let's check out the track listing on this joint. There is also some features from OC, the Lost Boys, and Royal Flush on this album too. The singles off here, man. I think Master IC was a single. Shit's Real was a single. The Natural was a single. And Wherever You Are. I highly recommend this album, man. New York, 95, just type of vibe. Grimy gutter. One of my favorites. Next up, I got a single. It's Mos Def, Body Rock. It features Q-Tip and Tash of the Alcoholics. This was a single off the Lyricist Lounge Volume 1 compilation album. And really dope joint. Let's go ahead and check out the track listings on this CD single here. The Body Rock instrumental, Stretch and Bob radio skit featuring Black Dot Common, Pharaoh, and Absolute. Next up, I got Paris, Gorilla Funk, MC out of Oakland, California, and this is his third album, and it was released in 1994. So let's go ahead and take a look at the track listing on it. Paris coming with that militant funk. "40 Ounces in a Fool." Paris out of Oakland, California. Next up, I got Pete Rock, Pete Instrumentals Part 2, released in 2015, and it's his third instrumental album. I think the first one was Surviving Elements, his first instrumental album, but this is his third instrumental joint, Part 2 to Pete Instrumentals. Caught this joint for $4, yo. Don't get it twisted, man. I love all the beats on this album, man. My only problem with this album was there was no bells, man. There was no signature PR bells, man. No sleigh bells. Gotta go see Nath Jones and get my sleigh bells on, man. But solid job, man. Solid job. Next up, I got the Pharcyde, Bizarre Ride to the Pharcyde. This was their debut album. It dropped back in 1992. They were a hip-hop group from South Central Los Angeles. The members were Imani, Fat Lip, Slim Kid, and Booty Brown. Booty Brown, yo. But this album, you know, the popular single, everybody knows, Passing Me By. Just a very memorable album, classic in my mind. So let's go ahead and check the listings out. There's so many pressings of this album, man. I've had like 3 or 4 of them since this came out because I've lost them, or I damaged them, or somebody damaged them and I had to get it over again. Oh shit. Better or for worse. I mean, every track on here is classic, man. The Pharcyde. Everybody should have this. Next up, I got the Pharcyde Labcabincalifornia, the follow-up to Bizarre Ride. Was released in 1995. Of course, it was the group's second album, and the production was handled by Jay Dilla, Pharcyde themselves, M-Walk, and Diamond D did some production on this as well. Let's check out the joints on it. Alright, some of the singles they had off here, Drop, Running, one of my favorites, but just another solid follow-up, another classic in my mind, a must-have. Next up, I got Ras Kass, Soul on Ice. This is his debut album right here, and was released back in 1996. It had production from Battlecat and Ras Kass himself, among others. And I think he has I'm pretty sure he does. He has a Coolio feature on this album, back when Coolio was actually pretty good. Excuse me for this being sealed. This is the Japanese repress. Man, I used to have the original for this one, and I think I ended up selling it back, trading it back in like an idiot, man. I did that with a lot of joints back in the day, but some I still got, man. Some I held on to. But let's go ahead and take a look at the track listings on this. Man, for the most part, man, they left all the artwork the same as the OG press, which is cool when they do these reissues. But this is a classic, man, and I think Ras Kass is out of Carson, California, man. Dope classic album. Pick it up if you get a chance. Next up, man, we got Ray's Cafe, Ray Wes and OC. Yes, OC, Omar Cradle of DITC fame. Ray Wes, the producer, OC, the MC, team up together. They went for like a concept album with this. They kind of want to put you like in a like jazz cafe type of setting, man. 1970s kind of feel. I love anything OC does, man. I'm a big time fan of OC. I really enjoyed this. The production was handled completely by Ray West. I think AG appears on here too for a feature. But if you come across this, man, you're an OC fan. Even if you're not, man, go ahead and pick it up. Let's check out the track listings. All right, Ray's Cafe. Go Back featuring Milano and AG. He didn't even really need those features on here. You know, I would have just been cool with hearing OC, man. But this was solid right here. Next up, we got Royal Flush, Ghetto Millionaire. This is his debut. It dropped in 1997. He had crazy production on here, man. The Beat Miners, Buck Wild, Easy LP, High Tech, LES even got a joint off on here. Some dope features from Noriega and Mike Geronimo. So he was out of Flushing, Queens. So let's take a look at the tracks. Alright, so here we go with the track listings, yo. Noriega, Mike Geronimo. Alright, man, that's gonna do it. This has been my CD pickup video, hip-hop CD pickup video, and I will see you soon. I got some vinyl I got to get into next. Maybe another CD update first, though. See ya.